Hello, and welcome. I'm Joy, and tonight, I'll be your guide, your companion, your pilot on this journey. Tonight, you won't just listen to English. You'll begin to think in it, feel it, and understand it naturally. This way of learning is different. You don't need to memorize rules. You don't need to translate in your head. You don't need to feel pressure. Instead, you simply listen. And let your mind absorb the rhythm, the meaning, the feeling of English. The morning air is crisp as we step through the gates. Sunlight glances off the colorful signs above, painting patterns across the paving stones. I can hear the soft hum of conversations blending with the occasional burst of laughter, the distant cheer of a ride somewhere out of view. Families pass by, some pushing strollers, others carrying balloons that sway lazily above their heads. There's a gentle scent of fresh popcorn drifting from a nearby cart, mixing with the faint tang of morning dew and the sweetness of early pastries. The entrance is wide, open, inviting. Every detail seems purposeful. The warm tones of the buildings, the small flags fluttering overhead, the gentle chime of bells as a trolley moves along its tracks in the distance. As we pause to adjust to the pace, the moment settles around us. The gates themselves feel like a threshold, marking the movement from the ordinary into a place intentionally designed to feel alive, cheerful, yet calm if you let yourself notice the subtler layers. A child squeals nearby at a figure in costume passing through the crowd, and the sound is bright, sharp, but not jarring. The breeze carries the faint melody of a familiar tune, looping softly from hidden speakers along the street, the kind of music that feels like a whisper of memory rather than a demand for attention. I notice how people's steps slow slightly as they take in the view, how eyes linger on the painted facades or the gently spinning wheels of a distant carousel. It feels like everyone, in some quiet way, is moving through a shared sense of anticipation. We walk a little further, and the textures of the space begin to register more fully. The paving stones shift underfoot, smooth in some areas, slightly worn in others, the faint traces of countless feet marking the paths we now share. Benches line the sides, some shaded by umbrellas, where parents sit with maps unfolded and coffee cups in hand. The conversations here are a soft murmur, punctuated by occasional bursts of excitement, a look, or a wow, never rushed, always attentive to the moment at hand. I notice the way the sunlight catches on metallic surfaces, the gentle flicker of shadows as banners sway in the breeze. Every step feels deliberate, yet effortless, like moving through a space that's alive but welcoming, a space designed to be explored slowly, with attention. A fountain glimmers nearby, water cascading in steady arcs, catching the morning light like scattered diamonds. Children dip their hands to touch the cool spray, laughing as the droplets fall away in sparkling trails. The scent of water mingles with the faint perfume of nearby flowers, planted carefully along the walkways, their colors vivid but not overwhelming. We pause for a moment, letting the sound and motion settle around us. There's something in this pause, a space to notice, to breathe, to orient ourselves not just to the place, but to the quiet rhythms of being present here. Even the distant hum of a ride, the gentle squeak of a wheel turning somewhere, feels comforting now, part of a layered soundtrack of subtle life. A family ahead of us shares a small, animated conversation. "I want the big roller coaster first," one child insists, voice high with excitement. "Let's start slow," a parent replies, voice calm, patient, smiling. The exchange is simple, human, familiar, yet it carries a weightless energy that blends seamlessly with the environment. It reminds me that here, each person brings their own rhythm, their own tempo, and yet it all coexists without friction. We continue walking slowly, letting the crowd's gentle ebb carry us forward, noticing the colors, the textures, the movement, the life. There's anticipation in every step, but it's soft, a quiet current beneath the surface of this morning, waiting to unfold. And as we move through the entrance plaza, the wider view opens up. The main street stretches ahead, flanked by buildings that rise just enough to frame the sky without feeling imposing. The faint scent of cinnamon and sugar drifts from a nearby bakery, mingling with the crispness of the morning air. A breeze brushes past, carrying a hint of cotton candy, the subtle hum of conversation, and the faint echo of laughter from somewhere just out of sight. It feels like the world has contracted slightly, focused on this space, on this moment. We are here, present, noticing, moving gently toward what comes next. And so the journey begins. We are stepping into a world designed to hold attention and imagination alike. The details are many, and they are small. The tilt of a sign, the shimmer of a window, the rhythm of steps on stone. Each layer asks nothing, offers everything. And as we walk forward, the day unfolds quietly, the promise of exploration stretching ahead. There is nothing to do but notice, breathe, and allow the calm awareness of the space to settle over us. A story waits in every corner, in every laugh, in every glimmer of light. And we are here to experience it together. We begin moving along the main street, letting our pace fall naturally with the gentle rhythm of those around us. The pavement beneath our feet is warm now from the rising sun, each step echoing faintly in the open space. Storefronts line the way, their windows filled with displays of toys, trinkets, and costumes. Colors shift subtly as we pass, reds and golds catching the light, while softer pastels balance the brightness, inviting the eye to linger. A small bell chimes as a door opens, and a scent of vanilla and sugar escapes, drifting outward like a soft greeting. Somewhere nearby, the quiet clatter of a tram mingles with distant music, layering the street with textures both alive and subtle. We slow for a moment, watching a group of performers near a corner stage. A woman balances atop a small platform, spinning slowly, her movements precise yet effortless. Children gather close, faces lifted in fascination, while parents watch with gentle smiles. The movement is calm, deliberate, like a quiet choreography that allows the viewer to feel part of its rhythm rather than merely observing. I notice how shadows shift under the figures, the interplay of sunlight and motion making every gesture feel alive. It's easy to forget time here, to allow the unfolding motion to guide the pace of our own bodies, our own attention. Our steps carry us forward, past a small fountain where the water glistens in arcs, catching tiny rainbows as it falls. A father lifts his daughter to peer over the edge, her hair brushing against his shoulder as she reaches for the spray. Nearby, someone hums a tune, and it mingles with the subtle hum of conversation and the faint mechanical sounds of rides turning somewhere beyond view. We pause instinctively, letting the soundscape wash over us. The energy here is gentle, lively, but never urgent. It encourages noticing, attuning, a quiet participation in the flow of life around us. We turn down a side path lined with trees, their leaves dappled in light, casting shifting patterns on the walkway. A small cafe appears tucked into the corner, tables set with neatly folded umbrellas. The aroma of roasted coffee and warm pastries invites us closer, but we continue, letting curiosity guide the next steps rather than hunger or need. Along the path, the texture changes slightly underfoot. The stones are smoother, bordered by low hedges that sway faintly in the breeze. A child skips past, spinning in circles, their laughter floating softly, carried by the air. It feels intimate here, quieter, a space that seems designed for discovery if you allow yourself to slow down and notice. Ahead, a gentle curve brings us to a plaza with a carousel slowly turning in the distance. The music is soft, a carousel tune that feels familiar yet distant, floating across the square. The painted horses rise and fall rhythmically, each detail golden reins, carved manes, tiny mirrors catching the sunlight in fleeting flashes. People walk around the plaza, some pointing out favorite figures to each other, their movements unhurried, deliberate. We step closer, and the sounds of the ride deepen. The creak of wood, the soft whir of gears, the quiet murmur of passengers' delight. It's a sensory layering that invites immersion, urging us to pause and let our attention wander gently over every small detail. We choose a direction, veering slightly toward a shaded walkway lined with small shops and kiosks. A faint breeze carries the smell of fresh-baked bread from one stand, mingling with the subtler scent of flowers planted along the path. We slow, noticing textures, the smooth wooden rail of a railing, the patterned bricks beneath our shoes, the occasional pebble that shifts slightly underfoot. Somewhere, a soft bell chimes, and a performer whistles a brief tune, blending into the wider soundscape. Every step feels intentional, yet effortless, guided by curiosity and a sense of gentle exploration rather than a fixed plan. Along the way, small interactions emerge naturally. A child points to a spinning toy, eyes wide, and a parent kneels, whispering, "Do you want to try it?" Nearby, someone laughs at a minor stumble on the stones, the sound light, and without frustration. These moments are small, fleeting, yet they carry warmth, a quiet human texture that punctuates the calm energy of the morning. We observe without needing to intervene, allowing the shared humanity of the space to register fully, a subtle, comforting presence. The path curves again, leading us toward a fountain where water jets rise and fall in slow arcs. Sunlight glints off the droplets, scattering fragments of color that dance across the surrounding plaza. Children step cautiously near the edge, parents nearby, voices low and attentive. The surface of the water reflects the sky, the nearby architecture, the slow movement of people passing by, layering multiple perspectives in a single glance. We pause for a moment, letting the visual harmony settle in, a quiet acknowledgement of the rhythm of life here. Movement and stillness coexist, intertwined in a gentle balance that encourages calm observation and presence. We continue, moving now toward a wide courtyard where banners flutter overhead, soft in the morning wind. The colors are vivid deep blues, warm golds, and bright reds, but tempered by the softness of the light and the slow pace of our movement. Shadows stretch across the paving stones, shifting with every cloud that drifts across the sun. Nearby, a street performer juggles quietly, the rhythm of the balls in the air forming a steady, meditative cadence. People gather at a respectful distance, watching, waiting, breathing in unison with the motion. It feels almost ceremonial, a simple ritual of attention and presence that extends naturally to anyone willing to watch. As we meander through this courtyard, we begin to sense a choice, subtle yet palpable. Which path to explore next, which sounds or sights to follow. The world unfolds like a series of gentle invitations, each one quiet, unhurried, alive in its own way. We notice the details of movement around us, a stroller gliding past, a hand brushing a shop window, a soft murmur of conversation carried on the air. Even in the midst of so much life, there's space to notice, to feel, to allow curiosity to guide the steps without pressure or hurry. The morning stretches ahead, open and inviting, each turn of the path a chance to immerse more fully in the unfolding rhythm of this world. And so we continue, step by step, allowing the environment to guide us, to reveal its textures, sounds, and small wonders. The day is still young, yet already rich with layered experiences that unfold slowly, patiently. Every corner, every shift in light, every subtle sound is part of the journey, encouraging calm awareness and gentle attention. We walk, we notice, we move forward, and in this quiet unfolding, the story of the day begins to weave itself around us, inviting us deeper into its rhythm. The path opens into a larger square, wider now, allowing sunlight to spill freely across the ground. Shadows of the surrounding buildings stretch in long, soft lines, shifting gently as the day moves higher in the sky. Here, the crowd thins slightly, giving space for the eye to wander across the variety of textures and colors. A fountain stands at the center, its water rising in delicate arcs, droplets sparkling like tiny prisms in the sunlight. Children circle its edge, sometimes pausing to touch the cool spray, while parents lean back on benches, quiet smiles tugging at their lips. The soft echo of laughter combines with the distant hum of rides, forming a layered soundtrack that feels alive yet measured. We follow a curved pathway that leads past a series of small plazas, each with its own character. One has a cluster of carts selling treats, sugared nuts, warm pretzels, candied apples, their scents blending into a gentle, inviting perfume that drifts through the air. Another plaza features musicians, softly playing strings and flutes, their tunes winding through the space like gentle currents, carrying the mind along with them. People pause, even for just a moment, letting the music settle over their shoulders, softening movement, creating a shared, calm rhythm. I notice how shadows play across the plaza stones, how sunlight catches a ribbon on a balloon, how the wind stirs leaves in quiet, unpredictable patterns. Ahead, a bridge arcs over a shallow stream that winds through the park. Water glints under the sun, moving in slow, smooth ripples. Small fish dart near the surface, momentarily catching the light, then vanishing into shadow. The bridge itself is warm beneath our hands, its wooden rails polished by countless travelers before us. A few people lean against it, quietly observing, their reflections mirrored on the water below. A soft murmur of voices floats up from the stream's edge, someone commenting on a bird, another sharing a small laugh. Even in these tiny moments, the world feels layered, alive with subtle motion and quiet connections. We wander down a shaded lane lined with trees whose leaves whisper with the breeze. The sunlight filters through in patches, creating pools of warmth on the path that feel inviting underfoot. Occasional bursts of color appear, a red balloon drifting lazily past, a child's jacket bright against muted greens, a painted sign half hidden among branches. Birdsong drifts down from the canopy, light and fleeting, blending into the distant melody of a ride just out of view. Here, the pace slows naturally, a cadence formed not by intention but by the subtle cues of light, sound, and motion. Turning a corner, we enter an area that hums with a slightly different energy. A carousel spins nearby, its horses rising and falling in perfect rhythm, their painted details catching sunlight in small flashes of gold and blue. The music from the carousel is soft but insistent, a gentle pulse that draws attention without demanding it. Children giggle as their mounts rise and fall, parents' hands resting lightly on their shoulders, eyes tracking every movement with warmth and care. The surrounding space feels intimate, almost like a small village square within the larger park. Benches are positioned just so, inviting quiet observation. We pause for a moment, letting the carousel's rhythm guide our awareness, noticing the subtle variations in each turn, the faint squeak of mechanics hidden beneath the painted horses. Nearby, a row of small shops offers glimpses of craftsmanship, hand-painted figurines, delicate trinkets, and colorful scarves folded neatly in display cases. A soft bell chimes as a door opens, and the scent of cinnamon and chocolate escapes, inviting a brief, indulgent pause. People enter and exit, smiling, some pointing out details to each other in low tones, their attention careful and deliberate. We move slowly among them, noticing textures, the polished wood of counters, the smoothness of ceramic figures, the gentle rustle of fabric as it shifts in the breeze. Even a simple gesture, like a hand brushing against a display, feels rich in detail when given attention. A small courtyard opens beyond the shops, featuring an animated fountain. Water arcs in intricate patterns, catching sunlight in brief, brilliant flashes. The sound is layered, splashes against stone, tiny ripples, distant laughter echoing from a nearby ride. People linger here, some photographing, some simply watching, faces relaxed and attentive. I noticed the soft interaction of light and movement, water droplets glinting against the color of a child's balloon, the shadow of a passerby crossing the fountain, sunlight glancing off metallic railings. The space feels alive, but in a calm, deliberate way, as if every detail is inviting careful observation. From this courtyard, we move toward a slightly elevated area, a gentle slope leading to a terrace. From here, the wider park spreads below, a tapestry of motion, color, and light. Rides spin in the distance, their structures painted in cheerful pastels. Paths wind through shaded trees and open plazas, their surfaces dappled with sunlight and shadow. People move along these paths in rhythms of their own, some walking slowly, others pausing to observe, yet all connected by the shared cadence of the day. The view offers perspective, the interplay of motion, color, and sound, all coexisting in a delicate balance that encourages quiet attention. We continue along the terrace, following a path lined with flowering shrubs. Their fragrance is subtle but present, mingling with the faint aroma of baked goods from a nearby stall. The wind carries small petals across the stones, drifting lazily before settling. A small group of children chase one another briefly, their laughter light and uncontained, fading gently into the surrounding sounds. Nearby, someone plays a soft tune on a flute, the melody weaving through the air like a thread connecting disparate moments into a coherent whole. Even without focusing on any single element, there is harmony here, an orchestration of movement, color, and sound that feels natural, unforced. As we meander further, we notice how the environment subtly changes. The colors shift, softer tones emerging alongside brighter accents. Textures alternate between smooth paving, polished wood, and gentle gravel. The sounds evolve too, laughter, music, and mechanical hums layering and fading in gentle cycles. Every step uncovers something new, a carved figure on a railing, a hidden pathway between hedges, the glint of sunlight on a distant fountain. Exploration here is guided by attention, not urgency, allowing curiosity to direct each movement and each glance. We pause at a small overlook, watching as a train glides along its track in the distance. Its movement is smooth, rhythmic, punctuated by the occasional soft chime as it passes under a low arch. Passengers wave lightly, and someone below points upward, voice carrying just enough to float to us. The sense of motion here is expansive, yet intimate, the larger rhythms of the park complementing the small, personal moments unfolding around us. I noticed the interplay of human presence and design space, the way paths guide movement without restriction, the way light and sound create layered experiences, the way attention flows naturally from one scene to the next. And as we continue, walking toward the next area of discovery, the park reveals itself as a series of connected worlds. Each moment offers subtle novelty, a glint of sunlight, a soft melody, a fleeting gesture, a new path to follow. The day moves with us, calm and deliberate, yet alive with movement and energy. We are immersed, noticing, exploring, and slowly, quietly, the world opens further, offering its rhythms, its textures, its gentle surprises, one step at a time. We continue along a gentle curve, moving toward an open plaza where the energy feels slightly more vibrant, yet still measured. Families cluster near shaded benches, some sharing small snacks, others pointing toward rides or playful fountains. A couple ahead laughs softly as the child in their stroller reaches toward a spinning balloon, and the parent says, "Almost got it. Wait, careful now," guiding with gentle hands. The sound is warm, human, blending seamlessly into the ambient chorus of movement and distant music. We notice the rhythm of their gestures, the natural pauses in conversation, the way eyes meet and shift, and it makes the plaza feel alive, not crowded, but intentionally full of shared life. A street performer juggles quietly nearby, tossing bright scarves into the air instead of balls. Children cluster around, their small voices murmuring admiration, while parents kneel to adjust shoes, sip from cups, or quietly point out the patterns of motion. "Look at that one go up higher," a child exclaims, and a parent replies with a gentle laugh. "Yes, see how it twirls." The scarves catch sunlight and dance midair before settling into the performer's hands, creating a soft, fleeting spectacle. We move closer, noticing how the performer's expression is calm, precise, and intentionally patient, inviting engagement without forcing it. The motion, the sounds, the shared attention form a quiet, comforting pulse in the midst of the plaza. Nearby, a small ice cream cart emits a soft bell as a family approaches. The vendor greets them warmly. "Vanilla or chocolate today?" The child peers at the selection, eyes wide, then says, "Can we have both?" The parent smiles, nodding, and the vendor scoops slowly, deliberately, letting the child watch the swirls form in the cone. A small moment, ordinary, yet full of attention and care. We pass by slowly, smelling the sweet treat mingling with the faint scent of nearby flowers, noticing the texture of sunlight on polished metal and the soft padding of footsteps on the paving stones. We wander toward a shaded walkway, where the subtle buzz of conversation rises alongside the distant hum of rides. A group of teenagers pauses near a photo stand, snapping pictures with quiet chatter. "Wait, everyone look this way," one instructs, and another adds, "Don't move, just a little closer." The click of the camera punctuates their laughter, small and light, and the moment carries the casual intimacy of familiarity. Nearby, someone's stroller rolls past, a hand resting lightly on the handle, and we notice the gentle coordination of movement, the soft give and take of shared space. Even the smallest interactions feel rich here, part of a layered pattern of human presence, warmth, and subtle energy. We approach a ride where the line is slow-moving, each step deliberate, the anticipation building gently. Parents chat quietly with children, pointing to parts of the ride, explaining softly what will happen. "I think the dragon is first," one child says, voice full of curiosity. "Let's see if it breathes fire," the parent replies, tone calm, encouraging, full of warmth. We pause, noticing how the group's attention is shared, focused, yet relaxed, their voices carrying over the hum of nearby machinery without overpowering it. The ride itself moves in measured arcs, lights blinking softly, mechanical sounds blending into laughter and conversation. We linger at the edge, absorbing the coordination of human energy, the ebb and flow of anticipation, noticing how subtle gestures convey care, attention, and excitement simultaneously. A small cafe nearby hums with gentle activity. Tables are dotted with half-finished pastries and soft drinks, conversations low, relaxed. A couple shares a single treat, cutting it carefully in half, one voice whispering a playful suggestion, the other agreeing with a soft laugh. The movement is intimate, almost cinematic in its simplicity, each action deliberate yet effortless. We walk past, noticing the texture of sun-dappled tables, the smooth surface of porcelain cups, the faint smell of coffee mingling with the sweetness of baked goods. Even without participating, the warmth of interaction lingers, subtly coloring the air around us. Children skip along a nearby path, their laughter ringing lightly as a parent calls, "Slow down, you're going to trip." The admonition is gentle, caring, without tension, and the children comply just enough, giggling as they weave past flowers and small hedges. A street musician plays a soft tune on a violin, the notes threading between voices, footsteps, and the distant sounds of rides. The layering of sounds human, mechanical, and natural creates a texture that invites attention without demanding it, a calm complexity we can sink into and move with. We notice small gestures that speak volumes, a hand resting lightly on a child's shoulder, an older sibling steadying a younger one near the fountain, a parent leaning close to whisper guidance as their child looks toward a spinning ride. Each interaction is brief, understated, yet full of human presence, a gentle warmth that enriches the environment without fanfare. The subtle smiles, careful adjustments, and soft tones weave into the surroundings, forming a connective tissue that makes the space feel shared, alive, and intimate. Even a glance exchanged between strangers as they navigate a crowded corner carries a hint of acknowledgement, a quiet recognition of co-presence in the unfolding day. A small bridge arches over a shallow stream, and we pause to watch reflections ripple across the water's surface. A family walks past, father holding a young child's hand, mother pointing toward a duck gliding in the current. "Look, it's so shiny," the child says, voice soft with wonder. The mother nods, smiling. "Yes, it's reflecting the sun. Isn't it beautiful?" Even without words, their posture, gestures, and attention communicate connection, the same warmth extending to the surroundings. We linger briefly, absorbing the subtle choreography of human presence, the interplay of motion, attention, and environment. As we continue, the paths curve and open into smaller courtyards. Children chase each other around decorative planters, balloons floating above their heads. Parents watch from shaded benches, drinks in hand, occasionally calling out gentle reminders or laughter. Nearby, someone stops to photograph a fleeting scene, a group pausing near a fountain, light catching the droplets midair, their expressions casual, real, yet subtly composed. The day is unfolding in layers, motion, sound, and human connection all blending in quiet harmony. We walk forward, noticing, observing, moving with the ebb and flow, our attention gently guided by curiosity and the warmth of shared presence. A small snack cart hums with activity nearby. "I'll take the chocolate one," a child says, voice low but excited. The parent smiles, handing over a few coins. "Here you go, enjoy it slowly." The transaction is ordinary, mundane even, yet imbued with the care, patience, and gentle anticipation that makes the moment feel rich and meaningful. We notice the tiny details, the movement of hands, the warmth of sunlight on faces, the faint aroma of cocoa mingling with morning air, the rhythm of shared attention. Every small interaction adds to the texture of the experience, the sense that this world is not just seen or heard, but felt in its quiet human currents. And so, as we move through the plazas, bridges, and pathways, we begin to sense the subtle heartbeat of the park, an interplay of light, sound, motion, and human presence. The day is alive with gentle interactions, quiet smiles, small gestures, and shared curiosity. Every step deepens immersion, and every glance or sound carries a layer of warmth, connection, and attentiveness. We walk, we notice, we share in the unfolding moments, and the space becomes more than a place, it becomes a living, breathing story of human experience, quietly inviting us to participate. The path slopes upward now, guiding us toward a central plaza that feels alive with motion, color, and energy, yet still inviting calm attention. Sunlight pours over the open space, catching the metallic edges of rides and glinting off surfaces in scattered reflections. Voices carry easily across the plaza, children calling to one another, parents laughing softly, friends exchanging small exclamations of delight. Somewhere, a carousel spins, its music weaving through the air in familiar, comforting loops. The scents are layered here: buttery popcorn, caramelized nuts, crisp pastries, and the faint hint of flowers lining the walkways. Each inhalation carries an invitation to engage fully with the moment. We move toward a ride that rises above the plaza, its structure painted in vivid pastels. The gentle hum of machinery mixes with the occasional cheer of passengers, forming a rhythm that pulls attention naturally. As we approach, we notice families and friends adjusting harnesses, checking seatbelts, leaning in to whisper quick instructions or jokes. "I'm ready," a child calls, and the parent responds, "Hold tight, we're going up." The small exchange carries both anticipation and calm assurance, a balance that threads through the day seamlessly. We watch, noting the smooth arcs of movement, the way light catches faces as the ride begins its gentle ascent. Nearby, a spinning teacup ride whirls in quiet circles. The motion is fast enough to spark laughter but slow enough to remain comfortable, measured, inviting playful attention without alarm. A group of children squeals with delight as they twist the center wheel, their friends shouting encouragement. Parents lean in, adjusting grips, laughing quietly, caught in the same rhythm of joy. We move closer, noticing the layering of sound, the whir of machinery, the cadence of laughter, the soft ripple of wind passing through banners overhead. Even without participating, the scene is immersive, the energy contagious yet gentle, a harmonious interplay of anticipation and release. From here, the walkways open into a courtyard lined with food carts, small shops, and seating areas. The smells are intoxicating: warm pretzels dusted with salt, caramel-coated apples, roasted nuts, and the occasional waft of coffee and chocolate. Children tug lightly at parents' hands, pointing to treats with wide eyes. "Can we get one?" a small voice asks, soft but persistent. The parent smiles, nodding. "Yes, let's choose together." The selection is deliberate, slow, attentive. Even the simple act of choosing a treat becomes layered. Sight, smell, anticipation, the tactile warmth of coins exchanged, the shared pleasure of small decisions. We wander into a slightly quieter corner, where a water ride glistens under the sunlight. The surface ripples in small waves, reflecting the shifting light in patterns that change with every movement of the boats. Children laugh as they splash gently, parents leaning over the edges, hands steadying small bodies, voices soft with reassurance and shared delight. The rhythm of the ride, the rise and fall, the swoop of curves, the quiet cheer of participants creates a dynamic soundtrack that draws attention, but allows calm presence to remain. We pause to notice the tiny details, droplets glinting like crystals in sunlight, reflections of faces on wet surfaces, the gentle sway of ropes and railings. A small parade begins to wind through the main street. Performers wave lightly, costumes bright and intricate, moving with deliberate choreography that feels effortless. Children reach out to touch floating ribbons or balloons, their parents' hands steadying them, voices murmuring guidance and delight. "Did you see the princess?" a child asks, and the parent responds with a soft laugh. "Yes, she waved just for you." The music accompanying the parade is lively, yet measured, weaving through the plaza without overwhelming. The layers of movement, performers, floats, families, and casual passers-by create a sense of rhythm and flow that is both engaging and calming, pulling attention outward while grounding it in shared experience. We move toward a terrace overlooking a distant ride that swings gently above the crowd. The motion is rhythmic, slow arcs rising and falling, passengers' expressions shifting between anticipation and soft exhilaration. The sunlight catches the metallic arms of the ride, sparkling, glinting with each swing. Nearby, a group of friends gestures to one another, laughing quietly, voices carrying across the plaza. "Your turn next," one says, and another replies with a calm smile. "Okay, I'm ready." We notice how the human rhythm of anticipation and release mirrors the motion of the ride itself, a subtle harmony between body, mind, and environment. The paths curve again, leading us through shaded walkways dotted with flowering shrubs and small fountains. Children chase one another in slow, deliberate games of tag, laughter ringing through the space, while parents' voices rise and fall in gentle guidance. Every interaction feels measured, intimate, and warm. We pause to watch a small scene, a child holding a parent's hand as they step over a low stream, the parent leaning close to whisper something, both smiles quiet but full of shared understanding. Even brief moments like these are heightened by the richness of surrounding details, sunlight on leaves, soft breeze against skin, the faint murmur of distant rides, and the subtle interplay of shadows across the path. A final turn leads us to a plaza bathed in golden afternoon light. A gentle fountain glistens at the center, children dipping hands into the cool spray. Nearby, a family photographs one another, laughing softly at small missteps. The camera clicks, punctuating the scene like a gentle heartbeat. Street performers move through the crowd, their gestures deliberate yet light, drawing quiet attention without urgency. The smell of fresh-baked goods mingles with sun-warmed stone and flowering shrubs. We pause here, letting the energy of the plaza settle around us. Motion, sound, color, and human connection coalescing into a calm, yet vivid peak. As we take a few steps back from the center, the day feels expansive yet intimate. We have moved through light and shadow, sound and silence, motion and pause. The textures of the environment, stone, water, wood, fabric, blend seamlessly with the layered rhythms of people, laughter, music, and breath. The energy is at its richest, yet not overwhelming. It's a moment of quiet confidence, fully immersed, fully present, aware of the depth of experience unfolding around us. The day has built naturally, from arrival to active exploration, into a space where movement, atmosphere, and emotion converge in calm, yet vibrant harmony. And as we linger here, noticing the sunlight catching a ribbon on a performer's costume, the ripple of water across a fountain, the gentle laughter of children chasing one another, we begin to feel the subtle satisfaction of being fully engaged in the flow. The park, the people, the environment, all layers of a living, breathing moment invite attention without demand. We walk slowly, intentionally, allowing each detail to register, each sound to resonate, each gesture to leave a trace of warmth. This is the heart of the experience, vivid, alive, yet grounded, where attention, movement, and human presence converge into quiet, effortless joy. The sun begins its slow descent, painting the park in soft, golden hues. Shadows stretch longer, the edges of buildings and trees softened by the warm light. The energy of the plaza has shifted, laughter still ripples gently, but movement is more measured now, more deliberate. People pause, lean against railings, rest on benches, and allow themselves to simply watch. The air feels cooler, carrying a faint breeze that rustles leaves and lifts the light scent of flowers. It's a gentle reminder that the day, like the park itself, has a natural rhythm, moving from the bustle of activity toward quiet reflection. We find a shaded corner near a small fountain, where the water trickles steadily, a soft, calming cadence. Nearby, a child dips a finger into the spray, watching ripples spread outward, and a parent smiles quietly, resting a hand gently on the child's shoulder. Voices carry in low tones, laughter softened by distance, footsteps light and rare. The sensory layers now feel more subtle, the warmth of sun on skin, the faint scent of treats lingering, the distant hum of rides winding down. We sit, quietly, letting awareness settle, noticing the fine details that might have been overlooked earlier: the shimmer of water, the faint flutter of leaves, the soft shifting of shadows across stone. A slow stroll begins, winding through paths that feel familiar after the day's exploration. The flow of movement is unhurried, guided by curiosity rather than destination. Each turn reveals small moments: a child pausing to look at a flower, a couple walking hand in hand, a parent pointing out a distant ride now quiet and still. The day's energy feels contained, concentrated into gentle ripples rather than bursts, and we move with it, noticing without needing to act, absorbing without interruption. There is calm in the simplicity of walking, in the continuity of presence, in the quiet acknowledgement of a world winding down. We pause at a small overlook where the entire park stretches below, bathed in late afternoon light. Rides are still, flags droop lazily, pathways glimmer softly in the golden glow. People move slowly, some pausing to rest, others lingering in quiet conversation. The sense of perspective encourages reflection. The park is alive, yet the pace is softer now, the rhythms more deliberate. We breathe in the atmosphere, noticing how the day's experiences layer gently into memory, fleeting laughter, subtle movements, the warmth of sun and human presence mingled together. A few final steps carry us toward the park exit. Sounds soften further. Footsteps echo lightly, conversations fade, rides hum faintly in the distance. The air cools, brushing against skin with a soothing touch, carrying faint scents of flowers and sweet treats that linger like a memory. We glance back once, noticing the patterns of light and shadow, the interplay of architecture and nature, the quiet residue of human motion. There is satisfaction in the simple act of observation, in the calm awareness of a day fully experienced, and the gentle sense that even as we leave, the echoes of the visit remain, tucked softly into memory. A small family pauses near the gate, the child holding a parent's hand, looking back with quiet wonder. Another visitor adjusts a camera strap, taking a final photo, preserving a fleeting moment. Even in these small departures, there is continuity, a gentle reminder that shared experience, movement, and presence have their own subtle rhythm, one that persists quietly after the day concludes. We follow our own path toward the exit, each step measured, each breath calm, allowing the mind to settle into reflection. The park fades slowly behind us, but its textures, sounds, and rhythms linger, gently threading through memory, leaving a quiet, satisfying imprint. As we pause for the final time, the world feels softer, lighter, infused with a sense of completion. We notice small details once more, the shimmer of the last sunlight on a fountain, the whisper of leaves overhead, the faint, distant laughter that lingers without urgency. Everything feels whole, interconnected, and quietly alive, offering a sense of calm fulfillment that comes from being fully present in a day experienced deeply. The body and mind relax into the memory, aware yet unburdened, savoring the gentle conclusion of movement, color, sound, and shared human presence. This is the Orbital English, where we explore and learn English gently and naturally. Take a slow breath and let this calm feeling stay with you a little longer. You've done something meaningful today. You listened, you felt, you learned. And slowly, quietly, your English is becoming a part of you. Thanks for your time. It's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital English and keep your thoughts bright.